Apple TV Plus' hit mystery TV show Surface has returned for a second season, 4 years after Season 1 concluded. Starring Gugu Mbatha-Raw, the thriller focuses on Sophie, a young woman who loses her memory following a terrible accident. Surface's freshman season features a big twist about Sophie, and audiences might be wondering what became of her after the Season 1 finale. While there are still some things to remember about Surface Season 1, so far, the second season seems like it will be as thrilling as the first. Surface Season 2, Episode 1 picks up where the previous season left off, with Sophie now in England trying to put together the missing pieces of her past. While there, she meets up with a former friend and a journalist who holds the key to helping her solve the mystery of her mother's death. By the conclusion of the season premiere, Sophie, now going by Tess, has decided to do whatever it takes to find out who was behind her mother's death. Why Sophie went back to England? Sophie wants to find her mother's murderer. Gugu Mbatha-Raw smiling in Surface. Following her accident, Sophie had no idea who she was or how she had come to live the life she had. When she discovers that she had hidden her passport and planned to return to England, she becomes more curious about what happened in her life prior to moving to the States and marrying James, Oliver Jackson Cohen. It turns out that Sophie's mother might have been killed by the Huntleys, a powerful English family she had been working for. Determined to unravel the mystery, Sophie embarks on a dangerous journey that puts her life at risk. Who Callum Walsh is and his connection to Sophie, explained. Callum Walsh is a journalist at the Britannia. Callum Walsh reading in Surface. After spending 10 years in the US, Sophie came across some information regarding her mother's death that made her decide to go back to England in order to find out what happened to her. She contacted Callum Walsh, Gavin Dreer, a journalist who writes articles about the crimes of the rich, so he could assist her in her investigation. Unfortunately, before she could achieve her goal, Sophie was in the accident that resulted in her losing her memory, so he had no idea who he was. With some of her memories now recovered, Sophie, now going by Tess Caldwell, returns to England with the same mission. This time, however, Callum isn't willing to help her, seeing as she didn't meet him at the time they had agreed on. But Gabby, one of Callum's sources who was going to reveal some secrets about the Huntleys, goes missing, thereby prompting the journalist to reconsider Sophie's offer. What happens to Sophie after she returns to England? Sophie is now part of high society. Although Sophie planned to hunt down the people who killed her mother, her mission won't be as easy as she thought, given that the way she left made one of her best friends, Eliza, Millie Brady, angry with her. Armed with the money that she stole from James, Sophie embeds herself in the life of the English elite with the hope that they will come to see her as one of them. However, she has a few hurdles to clear before that can happen, especially because Eliza doesn't trust her. The first episode of Surface Season 2 also sees Sophie and Callum working on their investigation of the Huntleys. She makes plans to use her money to buy her way into high society so she can get Eliza to trust her and therefore get closer to the truth. Given that Sophie didn't come from money, her newfound wealth raises a few questions, but she expertly dodges them. What to expect from Surface Season 2's next episodes? Surface Season 2, Episode 1 is the perfect start to the new series. Sophie looking thoughtful in Surface Season 2. The first episode of Surface Season 2 definitely laid the groundwork for what is to come later on in the Apple TV Plus show. With Sophie now in England and searching for answers, she will undoubtedly ruffle the feathers of one of the most powerful families in the country, seeing as they are at the center of her mother's murder. The first episode also shows that Sophie and Eliza have unresolved feelings for each other. Although Eliza is in a serious relationship, there's no ruling out the fact that she and Sophie might rekindle their romance in Surface Season 2.